Hey guys, this is Not Lammers of Invoked 101, and today we're going to be taking a look at my pure Shaddoll deck. So this is exactly how it sounds. This is just the Shaddoll deck, but without the invoked aspects of it, and I think that this version, I actually think pure Shaddoll is better than invoked Shadolls. Mainly because you don't have to worry about not drawing certain things, especially as I'm playing this one. I think that there's more ways to do things with this, and I don't think this is the best way to play pure Shadolls. There's a few things that I'd like to add to it, I just don't have. One such thing is emergency teleport. I think being able to get out the level 3 psychic monster that this deck has is very free and allows you to do other things. So that combo off basically give you free link materials. So, but before we get into this, down in the description there's a link to our Patreon, our Teespring, our Cashapp, our Ko-fi, and our Discord. So if you feel like supporting any of that and the channel itself, go check those out. They're all in the description below. And with that out of the way, I'll move the spells and traps and extra deck out of the way, and we'll get right into the main deck monsters. So of course, starting us off, we have triple Shaddoll Wendy. This is the new one that special summons from the deck when it's sent to the graveyard by a card effect. It's one of the main combo starters of the deck. You basically always want to have this in your hand. You either want this, like her and Squamata are easily the best ones in the whole deck, but usually you want to open one of these two when a light monster. So that's really where it comes down to is with this. And then, because Squamata, when it's sent to the graveyard, you get to send another Shaddoll card from the deck to the graveyard, which is really cool. One of those cards could be Shaddoll Hedgehog. When sent to the graveyard, you get to search a Shaddoll monster, which is really cool. I believe on flip it also, on flip it lets you search a Shaddoll spell or trap, so that's cool. And then last of the two ofs is 2 Shaddoll Beast. This is the send to a graveyard, draw a card, and if it's flipped, you actually get to draw 2 cards and then discard a card. But yeah, this is just the one that you see splashed a lot into. This one is like part of the Shaddoll engine, as people call it. So Beast is easily one of the better ones. And then we also have 4 one ofs. 1 Aerial, 1 Dragon, and 1 Kios. So Ariel, when she is flipped, you get to target a banished Shaddoll monster and special summon it. So that's part of the combo with the trap card. Shaddoll Dragon, when sent to the graveyard, gets to pop a spell or trap or return a spell or trap. And then Kios is a searchable light monster. That is the main reason we're playing him. And I completely get why they made the light Shaddoll not very good, because the light Shaddoll, like Kios, he's good because he's a light Shaddoll, but the rest of him is kind of bad. So it does kind of suck that he got shafted as far as stat lines go. But yeah, so that's it for the Shaddoll monsters themselves. It doesn't prevent Kios from having my favorite Shaddoll artwork though. Just being a new version of Evil Swarm Kirkion. We also have 3 damage Juggler. This one's really cool. I like this one personally because it does search a monster. It actually searches 2 monsters in the deck by banishing itself, and it's a light, so that's the reason I like this one so much. I only play 1 Trick Clown. Usually when you play this, you just search it off of the damage Juggler if you're going to keep going, so I have no problem with that. And 1 Hat Tricker. If there's 2 or more monsters on the field, you get to special summon this. You can search it off damage Juggler, so that's the main reason we're playing that. And it's also just more materials to fuse into. Or not to fuse with, but to link with. The last real monster I play is King of the Swamp. And some of you might be thinking, why are you playing King of the Swamp? It basically replaces Alistair in the deck. This searches Polymerization for a discard, which is pretty okay. It's not like it's costing you anything, and even if you open Polymerization, this can make a Nautilus. So it does have a purpose, but it's one of those things that when I saw Shaddolls, I wanted to test this out in it. And some people probably think it's a bad tech, but yeah, I found that it's okay. It's not the worst thing in the world. The last card I play is, of course, 3 Ash Blossoms. I feel like everything in this world now has to play 3 Ash. So these could be impermanences, effect veilers, called bys, whatever you want these to be. I actually think called by might be better in this deck, but you never know. And that's it for the main deck monsters. Moving into the spells or traps, we have 3 Shaddoll Fusion because you want to open it. This is like just the card that it lets you fusion someone from the deck, which is the main reason this deck wants to go second, is to get that extra effect, which is very nice. We also have 3 L Shaddoll Fusion, which is the quick play one. It lets you do stuff on your opponent's turn, lets you make Winda on your opponent's turn, lets you do a lot of really cool things overall. And then we also have 2 Super Poly. This is kind of obvious. The Shaddoll monsters are all pretty much Super Poly targets, so it kind of works the same way it works in Invoked, but I think 2 Super Poly is just fine. We also have 2 regular Polymerization. This is to search off a King of the Swamp. Basically, if you don't open any of these, you use King of the Swamp and get this, and this still does the job. Then we also have 2 Twin Twisters. I'm playing Twisters in this one over Cyclone because when you discard a Shaddoll monster, it will trigger the Shaddoll monster's effect. That's the main reason we're doing that. And 1 Foolish Burial, again, just to trigger Shaddoll monsters, get certain ones in the graveyard. If you open certain things but don't open the other thing, and you have Burial, it can really fix your hands a lot of the time, so that's what we're doing with that. And as for the traps, I am playing 2 Rush Shaddoll Incarnation. This is the card that kind of does a lot for the deck. I'm playing 2 because I had a big issue of drawing one of them when it was a one of, so I put it to 2, and honestly 2 is not bad, especially since it can special summon a Shaddoll monster from your graveyard. So it's a pretty okay little card. And then the last card is our out to Mystic Mine, just our out to other things. Dino Miscus, it discards a card and banishes a card. This is a really neat little tech that Thunder Dragons were playing a while back, and it's one of those cards that I've always kept in mind when building decks that do things when they're sent to the graveyard. So I felt that this was a pretty neat little choice for this deck. So there we go. That is it for the main deck. Moving into the extra, we have 2 Winda. I'm playing 2 different versions because I don't know, I like options. Winda is probably one of the best Shaddoll fusion monsters there is. Locking your opponent into 1 special summon a turn is pretty cool. Unfortunately, she is only 22, so she's pretty small, which means that as long as you have a decent Mech Knight, you can just run her over. But yeah, so Winda but she's still good. We're also playing 2 Apokalon. Because it's the pure version, Apokalon does see a little bit more play, so you do want to play at least 2 of her. She is good, being able to negate effects and then also pick a card out of the graveyard and then send it to the graveyard. It's crazy. So 1 Wendigo. Not gonna lie, this card's pretty bad. I'm mostly playing it because this is a pure Shaddoll deck and I kind of just wanted to play all the Shaddoll monsters. So yeah, 1 Wendigo. Basically it says, during the player's turn, you can target 1 monster you control. This turn, it can't be destroyed by battle. With an opponent's special summon monster, you can only use this effect of Wendigo once per turn. And then if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target a Shaddoll, spell or trap in your graveyard, add it to your hand. So, there you go. Wendigo's okay, but not the best. It's easily not the best. We also have Krista. Krista is one of those, is another Shaddoll that's not the best. It was reprinted in the structure deck as an ultra rare. So her effect is, during either player's turn, when your opponent would special summon a monster while you control a Shaddoll card in your hand, you can negate the summon, and if you do, destroy that monster, and then send the Shaddoll card from your hand to the graveyard. This one's honestly like one of the better bad Shaddolls, if that makes enough sense. It's not the worst thing, but you do have to have a Shaddoll card in your hand, and you have to control a Shaddoll monster, but like, oh no, you have to have a Shaddoll in your hand because you're already controlling this one. I'm sorry, I'm an idiot. But yeah, Krista is actually like kind of okay. You can fuse it with an Ash Blossom to get this card. So with the pure variant, it's actually worth running instead of the Purgatrio. We also have 2 Constructs. I prefer this artwork over the other artwork. Which, if you don't know what Construct does, when she battles a special summon monster, she pops a card. She also, on summon, sends a Shaddoll card from the deck to the graveyard, which is crazy. And then, of course, when she dies, you get to pick up a Shaddoll spell or trap and add it to your hand from the graveyard. Same with Krista. Krista does that same thing, too. After that, we also have Apokalon. Apokalon, her effect is, neither player can special summon monsters from the hand or graveyard using spell or traps, which is kind of interesting. That like Shaddolls have a card that locks them out of their own Shaddoll Incarnation, but whatever. It's fine. It's a good little. It's just a card to play, really, realistically. And then we also have one Shekanaga, which you can see that like Construct, Nautilus, and Shekanaga all have like the same face. So I'm pretty sure it begins with Construct, then Construct turns into a Nautilus, and then that turns into a Shekanaga. But, you know. Anyway, so Shekanaga needs an Earth monster, which you can use with like Hat Trigger. And her effect is, when a special summon monster activates its effect while you have a Shaddoll card in your hand, quick effect, you can negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that monster, then send a Shaddoll card from your hand to the graveyard. And then you can only use that effect once per turn. If this card is sent to your graveyard, you can add a Shaddoll spell or trap from your graveyard to your hand. So, pretty neat little card. Also has a 3000 booty, so, you know, nice defense. And that's it for the Shaddoll fusions. They're not the best things, but they are a neat little toolbox package. There's a lot to use here and a lot to play around with, which is really cool, especially since they're all super poly targets as well. So the last 5 cards in the extra are Abyss Dweller, because this deck can make rank 4s. Gravity Controller to get effects off of the fusion monsters you stick in the extra monster zone. Cross Sheet, because this is literally a Shaddoll monster, like not even gonna lie. Vert Anaconda, because this is another Shaddoll card. This also, like, if you get 2 monsters out and you don't have a fusion spell, this saves you a ridiculous amount. And 1 Boral Sword, because Boral Sword OTK is funny. Boral Sword is one of those cards that people are going to keep playing until it's banned, which is really sad, because I don't necessarily like the fact you can just have a 1 card OTK in your extra deck. Like, it's literally a 1 card OTK if you have another monster in face-up attack position. Even if your opponent has another monster in face-up attack position and they have 2 monsters, like usually this is pretty much a 1 card OTK. So but yeah, Boral Sword, Vert, just cause, and like unfortunately Vert's it probably got bought out at some point just because of the announcement of Dragoon. So, but yeah, that's it for the Shaddoll deck. It's one of those decks that I feel like people are going to keep experimenting with, especially now since Shaddolls are like at full power. They really like so they were at full power in 2014. We're on the ban list for a while with a few of their cards, but now all their cards are kind of off the list. So, and they got a structure deck. So Shaddolls are really in the best spot, especially since also Invoked exists, which is like Shaddoll 2.0 in a lot of ways. So I feel like this is one of those decks that can see a lot of experimentation. You can use Spellbook of Knowledge in here. You can use, like I said, King of the Swamp. You can use that. You can use the Invoked engine. There's so many things that this deck can do, but I really do feel this deck doesn't necessarily function as a deck per se. I feel like it's going to see, like, this is more suited as an engine type deck, but kind of like how Phantom Knights are used. But anyways, let me know what you guys thought about this deck in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.